Have your eyes felt more tired lately? Struggling to read or drive at night? You're not alone, and you're not powerless. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how 3 simple vegetables can quietly protect your vision and help you stay independent, one gentle habit at a time. Let me speak to you heart to heart for a moment, because if you're over 60, I bet you've felt it too. You pick up your favorite book, and suddenly the words aren't as crisp. You go to church or visit a friend, and faces in the distance look a little more blurred than they used to. Maybe you find yourself holding a recipe closer to the light, or needing more time to sort your pills each week. It sneaks up on you, doesn't it? And if that sounds familiar, I want to say this clearly. You're not imagining it, and you're certainly not alone. What's happening isn't just a quirk of aging. It often starts with a change deep inside the eye, in a place called the retina. It's a paper-thin layer at the back of your eye that processes light and detail. But as we age, it begins to wear down. The tricky part: it doesn't hurt. The retina has no pain receptors. That means these changes happen quietly, without warning, until one day, you find yourself avoiding nighttime driving, struggling to read the newspaper, or even stepping back from social moments because things feel off. And it's not just your eyesight that fades. It's your sense of freedom, your confidence, your connection to the world and the people you care about. But here's what I want you to hold on to. Just because this decline is common doesn't mean it's unavoidable. You are not powerless here. There are simple, natural, powerful steps you can take to protect your vision. And no, they don't start with a bottle of pills or an expensive supplement. In fact, some of the best support your eyes can get might already be waiting in your kitchen. Really. Because right now, your aging eyes are calling out for help, and the answer might be as close as your next meal. So if you've been noticing these little shifts in your vision, or if someone you love has, it's time to listen closely. The next few minutes might just change how you see the world, quite literally. Let's take this one gentle step at a time, together. Now let's start with a vegetable that often gets overlooked. It's not flashy. It doesn't come in a fancy bottle or promise instant results. But for your eyes, especially after 60, it might be one of the most powerful allies you have. I'm talking about spinach. Yes, that humble leafy green sitting quietly in the produce aisle. You might walk past it every week without giving it much thought, but inside those deep green leaves are 2 extraordinary nutrients your eyes are quietly craving: lutein and zeaxanthin. Think of them as your eye's natural sunglasses. These plant-based compounds help filter out harmful blue light, the kind that comes from your phone, your TV, even the sun. They shield your retina from damage, acting like a built-in layer of protection. But their real magic lies in how they fight oxidative stress, the silent, slow-burning damage that builds up in your eyes over time and plays a big role in age-related vision loss, like macular degeneration. Here's something many people don't realize. After age 60, our bodies become less efficient at absorbing these protective nutrients. That means even if you ate a bit of spinach years ago, your eyes might still be running on empty today. But when you start adding spinach back into your meals, even in small amounts, you begin to rebuild that line of defense. Let me tell you about Linda. She's 75, sharp as a tack, but recently she told me reading was becoming frustrating. By mid-afternoon, everything looked hazy. Crosswords felt like a chore. She even skipped a few book club meetings because the words were just too blurry. We didn't give her a new prescription. We didn't send her to the pharmacy. All we did was ask her to add half a cup of cooked spinach to her lunch 3 times a week. Sometimes it was in an omelet, sometimes sautéed with a little garlic or blended into a soup. 3 weeks later, she came back with tears in her eyes, not because her vision was perfect, but because she could finally finish a full chapter without rubbing them. That's the power of one simple change. No pills, no pressure. Just giving your eyes what they've quietly been asking for. So if you've got a bag of spinach in the fridge or even frozen in the freezer, don't let it go to waste. Toss a handful into your scrambled eggs. Stir it into a bowl of rice. Or blend it into a smoothie with banana and almond milk. And remember, this isn't about being perfect. You don't have to eat spinach every single day. Just a few servings each week can start giving your retina the support it needs to stay strong, clear, and focused, just like you. Now, let's talk about a vegetable that's been famous for eye health for generations, but that many of us have quietly forgotten about: carrots. Yes, the crunchy orange sticks we were told to eat as kids. Turns out, the advice still holds true, especially after 60. Carrots are packed with beta-carotene, a powerful antioxidant that your body converts into vitamin A. And vitamin A is absolutely essential for your eyes to function at their best. It keeps your cornea, the clear front layer of your eye, smooth and protected. It helps your retina process light, especially in dim or low light conditions, which is why it's so important for night vision. But here's something even more important that often gets overlooked. Vitamin A is key to producing the tear film, the natural layer of moisture that keeps your eyes comfortable, lubricated, and sharp. Without enough vitamin A, your eyes can start to feel dry, gritty, or tired by the end of the day. You might think it's just aging, but sometimes it's your eyes simply running out of the fuel they need to stay hydrated and alert. Let me share a story. Mr. Carl is 72 and a lifelong lover of mystery novels. Every evening, he'd sit with a cup of tea and soft music, ready to dive into his books. But lately, he told me he couldn't make it past 2 chapters. His eyes burned. The words seemed to float on the page. And by 8 p.m., he had to give up. We checked everything: no infection, no drastic change in prescription, just signs of dryness and subtle fatigue. So we tried something simple: half a cup of cooked carrots with dinner, 3 to 4 times a week. Steamed, roasted, or blended into soup, it didn't matter. What mattered was consistency. By the time he came back for his next visit, he smiled and said, "Doc, I finished 3 books this month and I didn't rub my eyes once." That's what just a little vitamin A can do. Carrots may not be glamorous, but they give your eyes what they need to thrive: protection, moisture, and clarity. And you don't have to eat them plain. Add them to stews, roast them with a drizzle of olive oil, or blend them into a smoothie with orange juice and ginger. They're flexible, easy, and comforting, just like good habits should be. Remember, after 60, your eyes don't need perfection. They need consistent care. And carrots? They're a bright, beautiful way to give your eyes exactly that. And now, let's talk about a green vegetable that often gets pushed aside, sometimes for being too plain, or maybe too healthy. But what if I told you that this little tree-shaped veggie could be one of your best defenses against age-related eye decline? I'm talking about broccoli. Yes, broccoli. It might not win any flavor contests at first glance, but inside those florets is a quiet powerhouse of protection, especially for aging eyes. What makes broccoli special? It contains a compound called sulforaphane. This natural, sulfur-based molecule does something amazing. It activates your body's own detox and antioxidant systems. That means it doesn't just bring antioxidants in, it tells your cells to make more of their own. And that's a big deal, because after 60, your eyes face a near-constant battle with something called oxidative stress. Think of it like slow rust, tiny bits of cellular damage happening every day from sunlight, pollution, and even just normal aging. If left unchecked, this kind of stress can speed up conditions like macular degeneration, retinal thinning, and persistent visual fatigue. Broccoli steps in like a quiet guardian, reducing that stress, lowering inflammation, and protecting your retina from the inside out. But that's not all. Broccoli is also rich in lutein, vitamin C, and zinc, nutrients that help support the tiny, delicate blood vessels behind your eyes. When those vessels stay open and flexible, They deliver oxygen and nourishment exactly where your eyes need it most. Let me tell you about Mrs. Evelyn, one of my longtime patients. She's 78, still sings in her church choir, and bakes banana bread that makes you believe in joy. But one afternoon, she said something that really struck me. I can't see the faces in the back row anymore. It wasn't full vision loss, it was a fading of contrast sensitivity. Her eyes couldn't quite separate shapes in low light. Reading hymn lyrics became harder, and she started feeling like the world was slipping into a soft blur. We didn't overhaul her routine. We didn't reach for a supplement. We simply added steamed broccoli to her lunch twice a week, served warm, with a bit of lemon and olive oil. 3 weeks later, she came in smiling. "I'm still not perfect," she said, "but I can follow the lyrics again. I don't feel lost." Sometimes, healing isn't about dramatic changes. It's about gently reclaiming the small moments that bring you joy. So if broccoli hasn't made it onto your plate lately, maybe now's the time to give it another chance. You don't have to eat it every day. Frozen broccoli works just as well as fresh. Roast it, steam it, toss it into soup, or stir fry, whatever feels easiest for you. Because every time you give your eyes the nutrients they need, you're not just protecting your vision, you're protecting the life you love to see. By now you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but how do I actually make it work in my life? And that's a good question. Because if you've ever tried to stick to a strict diet or follow a complicated health plan, you know it rarely lasts. That's why I want to tell you something simple but powerful. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Your body, especially after 60, doesn't respond best to sudden overhauls or drastic changes. What it thrives on is gentle, repeated support, those small, quiet choices that you make week after week. That's what really brings results. You don't have to turn your kitchen upside down. You don't have to eat spinach for every meal or keep carrots on your plate 7 days a week. What you can do, what truly makes a difference, is look at what you already eat and find one space to add something nourishing. Maybe it's tossing a handful of spinach into your scrambled eggs on Sunday. Maybe it's steaming some carrots as a side dish for dinner once or twice a week. Maybe it's stirring broccoli into a soup you already love. These don't need to be perfect meals. They just need to happen often enough for your eyes to feel the support. One of my patients once said something I'll never forget. She told me, "I didn't overhaul anything. I just slipped these in where I could." And over time, the difference was clear, literally. That's the beauty of a quiet habit. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. But it shows up gently, and it brings change that lasts. So if you've been wondering where to start, here's your invitation. Start small. Start somewhere. But most importantly, start. Because the power to care for your vision isn't hiding in a doctor's office or a pharmacy shelf. It's already in your kitchen. It's in the little choices you make every day, the ones that say, "My health still matters. I still matter." And trust me, your eyes will thank you for it. If you've stayed with me this far, I want to take a moment and say thank you. Not just for watching, but for caring. Because when you care about your vision, you're not just caring about seeing clearly. You're caring about how you live, how you move through your day, how you stay connected to the people and moments that matter most. You see, your eyes aren't just tools. They're windows into your independence, your joy, your memories, your future. And while vision may naturally change with age, that doesn't mean you're helpless. That doesn't mean it's too late. In fact, it's never too late to start giving your eyes the support they need. You don't need a complicated plan. You don't need to wait for a diagnosis. You don't even need to do everything at once. All it takes is one meal, one decision, one moment of care. So maybe this week you add some spinach to your lunch. Maybe you roast some carrots with dinner. Maybe you steam a bit of broccoli for Sunday supper. That's it. That's the beginning. Because these small, nourishing choices, when done with intention and consistency, can lead to real, visible change. And more than that, they remind you that your health still matters. That no matter your age, your body is still capable of responding, healing, and thriving with the right kind of support. So today, I invite you to take that first step, not out of fear, but out of love. Love for your body, your independence, your future. And if this video gave you something helpful, a new idea, a little hope, or even just the feeling that someone understands, please consider giving it a like, sharing it with someone you care about, and subscribing to the channel. You never know whose life your story might touch. If you've already been trying some of these changes, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Your journey could be the encouragement someone else needs. This is Dr. James Porter reminding you, health isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. And your presence, your care makes all the difference. Let's keep seeing the beauty in life together.